Hello everyone, this is Charles McNeely from DevDoc Theater, and I am so excited, happy and honored to be speaking to one of my favorite students of all time, Miss Himshri Nupani. Himshri, it is so good to see you. Here we are. Now, I met you in Lake Charles, Louisiana, McNeese, but now you are at the Performing Arts Center at University of New Orleans pursuing an MFA in theater, and I'm here to talk to you. Now, you know, I'm sure the people who are listening, whenever they heard me say your name, Himshri, they said, she's not from Louisiana, I don't think. And no, Himshri, you're an international student, right? And so what we're here to do is to talk to you about your experience as an international student, because I know I wasn't fully aware of the experiences of international students, and I know there are people out there like me who don't know some of the strange, interesting, unique things that are a part of an international student's life. So thank you for sitting down with me here in the NIMS Theater at UNO. And so I guess the first thing is, what was your life like? Where are you from?
I am from Kathmandu, Nepal. That's where I grew up. I did my schooling until +2, which is 11th and 12th grade. And during that +2, I decided that I want to go abroad for my further studies. So after I finished my +2, I started studying for SATs and then TOEFL. And
What is TOEFL?
TOEFL is a English proficiency test.
And when did you start learning English?
English, we in Nepal learn it simultaneously with our Nepali language. Yeah, from elementary school we learned our language Kakha Gaga. At the same time we learn our ABCDs.
Gotcha.
And all of our other subjects are in English too. So only Nepali subject is in Nepali. The rest of all the subjects are in English.
Everything is English immersion, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, I had no idea about learning English that early, along with Nepali.
But even if we learn English throughout our life, that still doesn't help us prepare to come over here and have an actual conversation, you know?
Yes.
You have to be really good also. I now I can tell that when I came here, I was very afraid to speak out loud, or I didn't have very good, I had an accent.
Yeah.
Very and now, I think I can have a good communication with anybody. But it takes time, and SATs and then the TOEFL make sure that we, as international students, can speak well, read and write well in English, so that we can get a scholarship for university.
Communication is a huge thing,
yes,
and so that was just helping you get to that point. So tell
so
me about that process. You went through the SATs and TOEFL, and so you took a test to come to America. How did that work?
The tests are TOEFL, and SATs I gave it twice because the first one I didn't do well. So I was like, okay, I want to try it another time so that I can get a better score, so that I have high chances of getting scholarship. So I did SATs twice, and then after that I went to consultancies where I got to apply for universities. We get I-20 from universities, so it's basically I-20 is like a acceptance letter from universities. It's basically like it's the status for our students.
You need that.
We need that to stay here.
Got
from
you.
University.
Before
we come here, university sends us our I-20, giving us estimation of our tuitions, scholarships, and everything. And then after we get our I-20, we can decide which university we want to give our interview with. So I chose McNeese.
Why did you choose
McNeese? It's a funny story. I went to my educational consultancy where they gave me option of 10 university. They said, okay, here's a list of 10 university, choose any 3 of them and we're gonna apply it, we're gonna apply over there. So I went home, and for some reason I did not really look through all the universities. Next day I went there, the first university that came out of my mouth was McNeese.
And There was no.
There was no reason. I just said McNeese.
It was on the list.
It was on the list. I said McNeese, and then he asked me what other two. I said you can choose for me. So I was like, okay, you can choose for me. So he chose East Central Oklahoma University and then Northwest Missouri State University. So he was like, okay, all three of these are very nice universities. We're gonna apply and we'll see, like, you know. So I got I-20 from all of those universities, but I was hoping to get into McNeese. For some reason.
You had some kind of connection.
Yes, it just felt right. I looked online on internet about these different places, and it just felt, whenever I saw Lake Charles, it felt like home. I like, you know, the lake, the university. Just I looked at it and it felt like I'm supposed to be there.
That's so nice. I hope people from McNeese are listening to this, because this is very special. So, very nice. Well, good. Well, that's quite a journey, and so you basically, once you decided, you went ahead and came, or was there any kind of challenges with coming?
Yes, there was challenge because after I did like a year of studies out, like, you know, applying and everything, I had visa interview in May. I went on my visa interview, so everything to that point is useless if you don't get US visa approved.
Wow. Okay.
You can put all the time, all the effort, but if you go to visa interview and they reject you, that is it. That is it. You cannot come over here. You cannot go to, like, you know, university over here. So I went in May to give my visa interview, and they rejected my first visa interview.
No. Well, what happened?
She asked me questions and I answered it. She just thought I was not eligible for visa for United States. And I mean, which they might have their own reasons.
Well, that's true, yeah. Okay.
But it was tough on me because I worked really hard. I really wanted to come, and I worked really hard. Like, I mean, my mother has seen me like cry several nights after I got my visa rejected, and then I got another visa interview after 2 months.
Okay.
When all of my friends all of the friends who applied with me were already here in the United States, and I was still there, hoping to get my visa approved. So I got another visa interview on July 29th, 2016. And then I went to visa interview making myself very strong and preparing myself for whatever it could happen. So I went there and then I gave all the answers properly. I had prepared myself. I have been through this already. So I went there, I prepared myself, I gave all the answers correctly, and then he told me to, like, you know, pay for my visa. Like, it was for some time I could not believe that, like, you know, I got it. I just wanted to, like, scream when I go outside and tell my father that, hey, I got it. But, like, you know, my hands were shaking, and I had to fill up a form, and my hands were shaking, and I was like, oh my God, this is huge.
Yes.
It was.
So that was July 29th, 2016, and this fall semester starts in August.
Yes.
So you got to McNeese?
Yeah, in 10 days. In 10 days, because I got my visa approved, like, you know, today. Then next day, it was like, okay, shopping, going to bank, like, you know, taking things like documents.
You had to prepare everything.
Yes, exactly. And my little brother was just 2 years old. He had no idea where I was going. He was just 2 years old, and, like, you know, we were packing, I would cry every night going to sleep knowing that I was gonna leave home. Yeah, I was gonna leave home so soon. Yeah, that 10 days wasn't enough for me to realize where I was going.
Yeah. What an experience. Oh my gosh. And luckily, or because of your hard work, you were able to get over there to McNeese, because it had a lake and it looked nice. And so, but I'm glad, because, you know, that's where we met, and I was your professor, and yeah, and you were a joy to work with as a student, as well as I directed you in a few things. And so I'm glad you chose that, McNeese, and then and chose theater. I guess, you know, once you got to America and to McNeese, what were some memorable things that you experienced or that you took part in while you were at McNeese that really stick out in your mind, of really nice things or some difficult things? Were there any big challenges? So what?
I would say the whole starting of theater, where basically I started with knowing nothing about theater.
Yes.
I remember asking you, Mr. Mac, why do they say thank you every time they say something, like thank you 5 or thank you 10? I'm like, why do they say that? And I remember you teaching me that. I come from that point, to learning so much of things, to my senior year where I directed my first play, which was called The Color of Vengeance.
And who was the playwright?
Playwright was Lynn Mary Macy. Yes. So that play is just made me so happy that where I started. And
you went from not knowing Thank You 5 to directing your own Lynn Marie Macy's play that was a phenomenal, wonderful experience. I know for the people who were involved, because I still talk to them, as well as for me as an audience member and as your teacher, I just said, yes, that's, you're ready to go on. So that's wonderful. Well, yes. Good. Another thing that I would like you to maybe mention, something that I try to take part in as much as I could every semester as a student from Nepal. There was a large group population of Nepali students at McNeese, and y'all had what was called Nepali Night. Yes. And you performed in that a couple of times, didn't you?
I performed every semester.
Every time, okay.
Semester.
And so what was that about? Celebrating the Nepali culture? What was that?
Yes, so we have many international Nepali students at McNeese. So there is our organization called Nepali Student Association. It's basically, you will find this association in different other university as well. Okay. So this is just one small group at McNeese. Yeah. We had about 100 students in it, yes. Who were or I would say 80 to 100 students who were actively members. Yes. Yes, so we would get together. We have a board, a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, event manager, which I was event manager. Nice. for NSA, and then we would do Nepali Night so that other people can come and experience our.
Because you'd have performances and games and food. Oh, that would
also quiz about Nepal.
Yes,
we would
yes.
put up a documentary about Nepal.
Yes, we learned about it. Yes, and Mount Everest and all of that.
In all of that, we would always try to have one cultural performance with our cultural dresses, so that they would know.
Thank you. I wanted to give you a chance to talk about that, because I know that was a very special time with that. So, okay. So if you think about and compare Nepal or Kathmandu to Lake Charles, were there any similarities or major differences in the two places that stick out in your mind? What
differences? I would say it's definitely two different planets.
Okay.
because Kathmandu is very populated.
Yeah, I think we looked it up, and it's 1.5 million people in the metro area, and Lake Charles is about 80,000. So yes, a little different.
So with that, and the temperature-wise, the weather over there is fairly not humid as Lake Charles. When I came to Lake Charles, I felt oh, I cannot breathe. It's so hot.
Humid.
It's so humid. It was raining outside, and it was still hot.
Yes.
And that was shocking to me. I was how could it rain and still be hot? So yeah, the weather-wise, and then the flat land in Lake Charles versus where our hilly region. That's where I come from. I literally walk up to school. Even in the Kathmandu city, the places are up and down. In around like that. So that is Kathmandu. The place is different. Houses, I would say. The houses in Nepal are made with concrete foundation, with a pillared system, strong brick houses. It's mainly because of earthquake, I would say. Very durable houses. in Nepal. And when I come here, I would see wooden houses. Wooden houses, it felt like living in a wooden box with a very, very small windows. You know, because in Nepal you would open all the windows, like, you know, you'll feel free because we don't have AC system, like, you know, everywhere. So we would live in a natural weather, and here we have AC, so it's like a small windows, like, you know, in a wooden house, a wooden box house, and it was a big adjustment for me to.
Well, yeah, that's some definitely differences and a couple of similarities.
Similarities, I would say, like, you know, that although like we have different cultures, people there, like, you know, in Kathmandu we celebrate our culture and tradition, and I've noticed that about Lake Charles, Louisiana too, that like, you know, people here, they celebrate their culture, like Mardi Gras, and then, like, you know, stuff like that. It's very culture. I love the culture around here.
That's wonderful.
And welcoming people. And like, I never thought that I would come to Lake Charles and I would I will find so many people that are very welcoming and accepting of who you are, you know, as a foreigner. And that's what Nepal is. Nepalese people are very welcoming, and I come here and people here are welcoming as well. So that is a huge,
That's a beautiful thing.
it's a similarities.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so what have you learned? What have you noticed? The similarities and differences between Lake Charles and New Orleans now? What's some of the?
I would definitely say Lake Charles has better roads. Just like the New Orleans, I don't really appreciate of the New Orleans roads, because I mean, I understand that hurricanes hit, flooding hits, and it's like all, like, you know, up and down, but the roads are different. The Lake Charles had little population, and I think I see a lot of people here. It's a larger area than Lake Charles, and very vibrant people. Like, you know, people are so vibrant, full of life. They want to come here, enjoy. Like, you know, it's just it's a different kind of Louisiana, in New Orleans.
That's wonderful. Great description too. Very nice. Okay, so you're pursuing your Master of Fine Arts in acting or theater. What do you want to do whenever you receive it? And I think it would be 2 years from now that you would be at that point. What do you want to do, Hemshri?
Actually, this is, like, you know, one of the questions that is really hard to answer, because with acting you can never be certain about a particular future, you know. But I would definitely hope to pursue an acting career where I can make living out of acting job. Other than that, I would want to work with kids and teach them how to act, if that's a possibility. And because I got that from CYT Lake Charles. When I worked with the CYT Lake Charles kids.
Christian Youth Theater, Lake Charles, and that's wonderful.
I just felt so happy to work with kids, and I felt it just makes me happy to see them happy and perform. So if anything, I would want to work with kids.
That's wonderful. I hope so. I hope you both are an actor and also a teacher of the young. So that would be a wonderful job. So excellent. All right. Now, I know that once you graduate, that there's something that I was not aware of till a few months ago. I thought that when an international student came to America, I thought, you know, maybe when they get a degree, they would get a green card and or you know, have a way of staying here, or, you know, get a job and you would automatically have a green card. But that's not the case. That's something called sponsorship. Now, I know you're not a scholar on this, and it's okay, you don't know everything, but from your perspective, can you help me and the others understand what is sponsorship for an international student, and how does it work for you as an MFA student?
It is very important for us, international student, to get sponsored, because once we are out of school, we are supposed to find a job that is in our field of studies. And not just like it's not just finding job, it's finding a proper job who is willing to sponsor us for an for our H-1B work visa.
H-1B work visa, and so it's not just about getting a job, because the company that hires you needs to want to sponsor you, right? And there's some legal things that have to happen, so it costs the company or whoever sponsors you a little money to sponsor. And so not all international students who have put in all this work end up staying in America. You have to find a job that is willing to sponsor you. And what's the one that you're looking for? Is there a specific kind of visa that you're looking for?
Actually, I wasn't familiar with this visa for longest time, and then I found out that there is something called O1B visa for individual with extraordinary ability in art or motion pictures. So that is a route that I could go for as an artist, because it's just like H1B, but O1B visa is like for artists.
Got you, and that's what you're going to pursue for sponsorship after you get your MFA.
Yes.
Wow, okay. So, I was not aware that international students had to go through so much, even after getting here and putting in all this work and earning degrees. You still have to go even further. But just like your visa test that you took, you have determination and perseverance. And so I think you can do this, actually. Plus you're very talented. So good, okay. All right, so as of now, and let's hope you have a lot more coming, but what's your greatest memory of being in America? Is there something particular that you would say sticks out in your mind the most?
Yes. Just right before when I left Nepal, on my flight over here, it's a very small thing, but very close to my heart. I would say I was watching movie Zootopia.
Yes.
Yeah, are you familiar with that?
I've heard I've never seen it. So it's the movie
Zootopia. In it, it's a movie about animals where it says anybody can be anything. So there is a rabbit. Her name is Judy. She wants to be a police officer. So they're making fun of her that, hey, rabbits cannot be police officer, you can never make it. So she finally, after her hard work and dedication, she becomes a police officer. She goes to a big city. When I watched that movie, it was I was already watching my future in there.
Yeah.
It felt so close to heart. I'm like, oh my God.
It encapsulates what you're
going through. Yes. So I was watching that movie, and then I was like, I have no idea where I'm going. I feel like Judy in the movie. I have no idea. I watched that movie, and then after all of my bachelor's, after all 9 semesters of hard work, after COVID and Hurricane Delta and Laura, finally in December of 2020, I was graduating. And then the night before I graduated, I watched that movie again to remember, where I started, where I didn't know how my future is gonna be like, and then I rewatched it again, knowing that, hey, I've come so far. So
that's wonderful.
So the graduating day was, I think, the most memorable memories in the United States.
That's wonderful. Well, I can definitely understand that. I believe you told me before we were filming that you haven't been home to Nepal in over 3 years, basically. Has your love for Nepal grown since being here?
Yes, absolutely. My parents are there, my whole family is there. So I miss them, and then I love them, and I miss celebrating festivals with them. So definitely I would say it has made me more closer to my culture, because I would want to wear my traditional clothes. I would want to speak. I would want to find people that I can speak Nepali to. It's just we would do anything over here to make feel like home, but home is home,
Yes.
So yes, I definitely have a lot of love for Nepal.
And I hope you're able to get back there at some point. But thank you. Is there anything else that this is your story about being an international student? Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you would like to say about being an international student that you would want people to know?
I would say that we international students come through so much of struggle, in search of better education, better life, and all we need is like a chance to prove ourselves. And that's what we hope, like, you know, from people over here to understand that we are also capable of doing that. And
it's okay. I understand. It's coming from the heart, and so, but yes, and Hemshri, you have already done so much at McNeese and here, and I know that that there's a lot of bright things in your future. So thank you for sitting down with me and sharing this, and to be continued. We'll see, and we'll keep up with you, and you know, and definitely support you in whatever your future holds. Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing this, and everyone, thank y'all for watching, and deeply appreciate Hemshri's story. I hope you learned something, and you know, if you know any international students or you see anyone, please you know, give them some support, because they have worked extremely hard to get, you know, to be able to be here, and try and you know, support them. Companies, you know, sponsor if at all possible. Keep them here, because they are quite wonderful people. So thank you so much for listening and watching. Take care.